What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is John Paul Investing. I wanted to talk about Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high and just Bitcoin in general, cryptocurrencies in general, and how I feel about Bitcoin as an investment, and why I think that everyone should own at least some Bitcoin and look at it more of a hedge as opposed to an investment. Now, before I got into the video, I wanted to remind you that WEBULL is offering up to 4 free stocks for anyone who opens a new account and deposits up to $100. After your deposit settles, you'll get the 4 free stocks and then you can do whatever you want with them. So if you want free stocks, I highly recommend you check out the link. I also want to remind you guys that I do have a Patreon group, so if you are looking for a direct way to support the channel, go down to the link in the description and click on the Patreon link. You'll get sent to a page that looks something like this and you can choose your donation tier. And just so it's a little more personalized, I did limit the spots available. So if this is something you're interested, I highly recommend you get in now instead of later. And if either of those don't work for you, all I ask is that you hit the like button and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps the channel a whole lot. So as of this recording, Bitcoin is sitting around $20,715. And this is a new all-time high as opposed to the recent all-time high, which was, I believe, a little bit under 20,000. It was like 19,900, 19,800. And, you know, these are new all-time highs. And people wonder or ask if, you know, is now the right time to invest in Bitcoin? Is it too late to get into Bitcoin? Or is it still really early to get into Bitcoin? What's the answer? So in my opinion, with Bitcoin, I feel like there is a big misconception around looking at it as an investment in general. It should be looked at more of as a potential store of value, as cliche as that sounds. And the reason this is because this is a currency that because of the blockchain network and how all of that is put together, as far as I understand, there's no one controlling the monetary system in Bitcoin but the network itself. So we have Bitcoin miners that enable the Bitcoin network, and whenever the Bitcoin miners are mining for Bitcoin, they're actually verifying all the transactions at the same time. So while they're mining, they're verifying the books as well. So you know how banks have books that they open and close every day for recording transactions and, you know, posting payments and things of that nature. So the Bitcoin network does all of that automatically, and the reward to these miners is Bitcoin. So that's how the network is self-incentivized to work. It's kind of like a crazy futuristic concept. Even I can't imagine how it was, you know, like 12 years ago, whenever Bitcoin was created. But the way the network was created, there's only a certain number of Bitcoins that can exist in the world. And this number can never increase, it can only decrease. So there is a limited supply of Bitcoins, and that limited supply amount is 21 million Bitcoins. So there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence. So because of the limited nature in Bitcoin, you know, being limited up to only 21 million coins, with a majority of those probably going to be, you know, out of existence because we can't find them, versus the unlimited supply of the dollar that we have, you know, Powell just able to sit there and crank out the money machine. So I don't know if any of my viewers have had experience with Forex or trading Forex. So essentially with Forex, all we're doing is exchanging one currency for another. So in Forex, we would have the base currency and then the quote currency. So the base currency would be, so let's compare like the US dollar to the euro, right? So the US dollar would be the base currency and the quote currency would be the euro. And you would basically compare the value of one currency as opposed to the other one. But the point is you have the euro US dollar currency pair, right? I just realized I said that wrong earlier in the video. So disregard the base and quote currency. But the point is you have two currency pairs. So if we look at the same idea with Bitcoin to the US dollar, we'll see that the Bitcoin versus the US dollar, the Bitcoin is becoming more and more scarce as time goes on because Bitcoins get lost and less are being mined. Whereas the dollar just keeps getting printed and printed. And you have to remember that the federal funds rate is super low right now. So they're essentially just printing out all this money. So what are people doing? They're investing. What are investments doing right now? They're flying to new all-time highs. Essentially, all this money is being printed, and the point of Bitcoin, so if Bitcoin is becoming more and more limited in supply as the dollar is getting more unlimited in supply because they just keep cranking out new dollars, then what's going to happen is the Bitcoin is going to start to appreciate against the dollar because now there's a whole lot more dollars in existence versus the Bitcoin in existence. So you could fit a whole bunch of those dollars into the Bitcoins as time goes on. And Bitcoins go down, I believe, 8 decimal places. One Bitcoin is worth 100 million Satoshis. So you could easily fit the value of a dollar into a Bitcoin very easily because it could be broken up into so many pieces. And what Bitcoin should really be looked at is more of a hedge as opposed to an investment. You need to look at it as a way to protect yourself against the inflation of the dollar. So that's why I think that everyone should at least own some Bitcoin. And right now I am around 10% invested in Bitcoin. The reason for this is because if the dollar starts to go out of control, at least now I have a very solid store of value that will never change. One Bitcoin now will always be one Bitcoin, even 10, 20, 50 years from now. As long as there's one copy of the node, the Bitcoin nodes or networks, whatever you want to call them, as long as one copy exists in the world, which means just one computer has to be essentially running this program to mine Bitcoin. As long as there's one computer, then there's always going to be a Bitcoin network in existence. I don't think you should all in Bitcoin. That is just my personal opinion. There are people out there who believe otherwise and will sell everything they have just to buy Bitcoin. I am not one of those people, but I do believe in the technology. I do believe in the Bitcoin network having some long-term value, especially if it's going to be used as a store of value, because we know one Bitcoin will always be worth one Bitcoin. I am viewing Bitcoin as a hedge to my portfolio. So at least if the dollar starts to suck, I have Bitcoin to, fluff my portfolio some more. Some people are saying that any Bitcoin that you have now is going to be worth a whole lot more later, no matter what time you get in now, because right now the Bitcoin network is around $400 billion in market cap. And they're saying the global money system is like in the hundreds of trillions or something along those lines, at least tens of trillions. And gold, I believe, is a $10 trillion market. So I think everyone should at least expose their portfolios to between at least 1 and 10% of Bitcoin. That's just my opinion. Because even the smallest amount of Bitcoin, if we were to fit a global monetary supply into Bitcoin, it'll be worth a whole lot later. And if the Bitcoin network were to crumble, well, then you're only losing between 1 and 10%. And I think this is a risk worth taking just because this is something we've never heard of until, maybe 12 years ago. And the fact that this technology is still around and still exists and is even worth this much should say something about the Bitcoin network. So I don't think you should sleep on it. I also don't think you should go all in on it. But if you're going to be a responsible investor, look at it more as a hedge instead of an investment. But the takeaway for this video is that I believe everyone should own Bitcoin and that you should not beat Bitcoin just because you don't understand it. I think everyone should own at least some Bitcoin in their portfolio, whether it's a portion or one whole Bitcoin. But anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked what you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell notification to get notified when I make videos just like this one. Anyways, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.